Hey, it's Eric here, and this is my 914 1973, and I'm actually over here at the RWB South location. If you're familiar with Porsches, you would know RWB, Rauwelt Begriff. And this shop is also home to Powder Fresh powder coating in South Atlanta. Highly recommend these guys. So anyways, little project 914 we thought about doing a wide body on. And as you know, circumstances often dictate, we're just out of time. Too many other Porsches to work on. So this one's going to go on to the next person. The funny thing is, just to give you a real quick, and actually my buddy Sohail is still up for doing this project. If somebody wants to buy this body, they have an original 1970s racing wide body kit. We were actually planning on removing everything but the side doors, the windshield, and the rear valance, and everything else goes, and the whole new kit comes in to make something that looks kind of like, of course this is a 911, but kind of the 914 version of this car. So that was what we were originally planning on doing. We're going to do a 914 version of wide body, which if you'll look them up, back in the 70s, that's what they did to race these vehicles. So one of the things I love about this car is it's a 2.0. It's an air-conditioned car. It's fully loaded, so it's as optioned as it got for its year model. And before I sound too dumb continuing to call it a 73, I'm going to double check here. It is in fact a 1973. So this vehicle is very well documented. It's one of the reasons why I bought it, because I've got a folder filled with original receipts from services that were done on it. You know, the little owner's manual where you stamp here for service and all that. Given the fact that we were planning on replacing most of the body panels with new manufactured body panels to do a wide body kit, we were not as concerned about body rust. So now that we're thinking about maybe selling the vehicle as a 914 original restoration project, there's some rust on the car that'll need to be addressed. As we go around, you'll see in the photos, there's a spot here, little pops, there's some rust bubbles here. This is probably the worst spot on the whole car. Door looks good. Rear quarter looks pretty good. Deck lid looks good. As far as rust is concerned is what I'm talking about. Nice and straight overall. A little dent here. You know, some body work that will need to be done, but obviously this car is going to be restored. A little rust pop here. The rest of the rear fender on the passenger side looks good. Now there's a little dent here, which we were pretty sure we could just suction cup right out. A little spot of rust up top. A couple spots on the door. And this front fender is in pretty good shape. Go into the inner fender wells. Got the original wheels, old tires on them. This is really a project car. It does not run. It's missing the intake, is the only thing that it's missing. And what we were going to do is pull it and rebuild it. We were actually planning on doing this vehicle with a lot of sponsorship. And so we had, you know, Brembo brake. We have all. I want to be careful. I don't want to name drop. So I want to say, I'm going to take that back. I won't say necessarily we had Brembo for sure, but let's just say we have a couple of you know, people that to do the builds with, and we're planning on using an upholstery shop. There's an air conditioning shop in Texas that I highly recommend for repairing the AC in this car. We were planning on pulling out the engine, like I was saying, and doing a rebuild kit on it. Transmission, just going full works with it. So I love the fact that all the original, like made in Western Germany, are still here. Interior panels are actually not in terrible bad condition. The nice thing is you can buy all the restoration parts for this fairly inexpensively out of the catalog. You know, the seat's actually not in bad shape for being original. The seat on the passenger side is actually more worn than the driver's. Little spot of rust there on the floor pan. Dash, of course, it's showing 13,887 on the mileage. I have no idea what the original mileage is. I do believe that when we were looking at the original paperwork that we found this to be a low mileage vehicle, but it could be 113, so I don't want to say for sure. It's obviously not showing like a low mileage indoor kept vehicle. So wanted to pop the hood for you. Hood latch still works with the key. Really clean under the trunk area space in front. Fuel tank, all in great. This is actually one of the reasons why I did fall in love with the car so much. Very solid, for the most part, very solid up front. No signs of any accidents. This is the air conditioning unit, fan, condenser. Like I said, actually, you would think these parts might be hard to find. Look at these inner fender wells. Aside from that one rust hole right there, the rest of this underneath here looks great. Actuators for your lights and everything are all still there. Original wiring is actually in pretty good shape. Not all eaten up by, you know, mice or anything like that. Everywhere that I've looked at the wiring, I've been pretty impressed with. Trunk area, a couple of simple, you know, the jack and simple spare parts. Take these out. Underneath rear trunk pan, nice and rusted out here. But as we get up to the inside, everything's nice and solid. Like I said, the deck lid as well. A couple of little rusty spots here, but nothing rusted through. Not sure if you've ever driven one of these. They're a real joy to drive. These are actually becoming increasingly popular amongst Porsche collectors, especially since this is becoming the affordable option to just buying a 911. Underneath, you're going to see some rust spots. But we were just planning on putting a whole brand new floor pan in. It's the least expensive thing to do. And I had this examined by my body guy, and he felt confident that just with the floor pans, everything else to connect to was in good shape, aside from a couple of other smaller rust spots. Solid on front. Little spot of rust there. Rockers look great. Dual exhaust in the rear. I bet this thing sounds amazing. Like I said, everything from what we accounted for, everything for the motor and transmission and the drivetrain is all there, except for the intake on the engine. So, well, there you have it. This is my 73 personal vehicle. Like I said, you know, we were kind of hoping for that restoration, and in fact, actually kind of had big plans to take this car to SEMA. Got an invitation. When you're rolling with these guys with RWB, you get invitations to other things. This is not an RWB car, just to be clear. I'm really not affiliated with RWB in any way. I just wanted to be clear about that, so that this video is not getting passed around, you know, with wrong intentions. This is just my 914, but we did have, you know, the invitation and opportunity to do a build to go to SEMA, which we were really excited about. Like I said, just didn't end up working out, but I think it'll be a fun project to pass on to somebody at a really affordable price. It'll be a great way if you're looking for a project to come home on the weekends and tinker with or everything. This would be a really cool car to be driving one day and say to all your friends, you know, I went through this car from bumper to bumper, got a great deal on it, went through it from bumper to bumper, got a lot of elbow grease in it, and now it's ready to drive. So yeah, look forward to hearing from you guys. We'll see the vehicle listed at PeachtreeClassicCars.com if you want to go to the website, PeachtreeClassicCars.com.